Past 24 hours we've had 3,981 tests in the past 24 hours, which is of course really good news. Now today we've had our flu vaccine. As I said last week, we would be getting our flu vaccine, and in around 2 weeks' time we'll be getting our COVID vaccine. Now just a week ago it was opened up to over 50s in Queensland, and I encourage everyone, get your flu shots and then to go and get your COVID vaccine. Also, in addition, what we'll be doing from the end of July, we'll be opening up 14 community hubs across Queensland, and of course this will gradually grow towards the end of the year. And this will be open to the general public aged 40 to 49. That'll be the next age group we'll be looking at. We already have 4 opened in Central Queensland City Campus, Mackay, Bundaberg TAFE, Hervey Bay TAFE and Maryborough City Hall. There'll be 3 more in South East Queensland in the coming weeks, and 7 more will be determined over the next few weeks as well. So as we know, the rollout will gather pace as more and more supply comes on hand, and I just want to thank everyone out there for doing the right thing. And of course, when it comes to keeping Queenslanders safe, it's very important that if you have any symptoms whatsoever to go and get tested. So I'll hand over to Dr. Young and then to Yvette. Now Yvette has had her flu vaccine at a pharmacy, so you can get your flu vaccine at pharmacies as well. And I'll hand over to Dr. Young.
So I've just had my flu vaccine, and in 2 weeks' time I will be getting the COVID vaccine, and for my age group and my situation that will be AstraZeneca. So the first time that general Queenslanders, and I regard myself as part of that cohort, I'm not a frontline healthcare worker, could access the vaccine was last Monday from their GP. My GP is now giving AstraZeneca vaccine, so that's what I'll be doing. I recommend strongly that every single person in Queensland, if you're 50 years of age or over, talk to your GP about what is the right thing for you to do. Any queries at all. Now, I'd like to briefly mention that Victoria has announced that they believe they have 2 new cases in the northern part of Melbourne. So anyone in Queensland today who has recently been in Melbourne, particularly those northern suburbs, in the last 14 days and has any symptoms at all, no matter how mild, would you please immediately come forward and get tested and isolate until you get a negative result. And we'll just follow, of course, very closely what's happening in Victoria. Thank you.
Thank you. So as we had indicated, it is our intention to move to mass vaccination centres in the last quarter of the year as we get those large volumes of Pfizer. And we've heard the Commonwealth come out overnight saying they're expecting more Pfizer to arrive in October, which is very welcome news. In the meantime, what we're going to do is move beyond our hospital hubs and our outreach clinics to community-based hubs. We, at this stage, are looking at 14 community-based hubs, both in South East Queensland, Central and Far North Queensland. And we will be delivering the Pfizer vaccine in those hubs to all of our frontline workers, which includes our health workers, our police, our paramedics, our fire and emergency services, our correctional services staff. But we will also move beyond that, because we have seen an increase in our Pfizer stock being delivered now and in the coming weeks. We will move to also opening up appointments for people who are 40 to 49 years old. Now, what you can do while we establish that booking system for the general public in that age group is you can go on the Queensland COVID vaccination website and go on to the eligibility checker. As you go through that process, if it says that you are not eligible yet because you are in the 40 to 49 group but you don't meet the other criteria, it then allows you to register your interest. So we encourage anyone from 40 to 49 to register their interest in coming forward and getting the Pfizer vaccine so that we can contact you when a community hub in your local area opens up. I also want to reiterate the comments made by the Chief Health Officer that there are likely cases in Victoria, and we'll keep a very close eye on any further announcements from the Victorian Government. But in the meantime, if you have been to North Melbourne and you are now in Queensland, if you have travelled in the last 14 days to North Melbourne, that you should immediately get tested if you have any symptoms, no matter how mild, and quarantine until you get those results. If there's any changes in Victoria's information, of course, we will update the Queensland community on that and any further steps that need to be taken. It is really important people do that. And as we've seen today from the Premier, Deputy Premier and the Chief Health Officer, if you have not got your flu shot yet, contact your local GP or your local pharmacy to get your flu shot, and make sure you're waiting 2 weeks before you go and get your COVID vaccine. I fortunately went to my local pharmacy just before I went to Longreach because I was going to be visiting an aged care unit in the hospital, and I encourage anyone, especially if you're visiting aged care or residential aged care, get your flu shot and then follow up with your COVID vaccine when it is suitable for you to do so. Thank you.
Sure. I was just mainly here for my flu shot. I get one every year. 4 years ago I got the flu and I got really, really sick. I ended up in an ambulance to Redcliffe Hospital, and so I just underline to everyone how important it is that we get our flu vaccination and of course as soon as we're eligible get our COVID vaccinations.
All right, we're happy to take some questions.
Just want to ask Dr. Young,
Yep.
last week we were told you were in the 1B category and we were told to Pfizer.
So I am encouraging all of our frontline healthcare workers who haven't been vaccinated to immediately get vaccinated. I need every single worker in one of our hospitals or community healthcare centres to be fully vaccinated as soon as possible. I'm not in that category, so I could be. Some people might argue I might be, but I'm not. I regard myself as a member of the general community, so I'm going to follow that general advice. I'm over 50 years of age, so I will be getting a GP to vaccinate me.
You had your flu shot a bit earlier last year. Is there any reason why you took
We've just been really busy, but I've been liaising with Dr. Young about a time we could get this done, and we were talking about it last week. So as I said last week, over the next couple of weeks, and we got it done today.
Will you be getting Pfizer or
I'll be talking to my GP in 2 weeks' time. The only proviso on that is that there may be the Lord Mayor, myself and the Prime Minister may have to go to Tokyo, so I'll have to get advice on that. So happy with either.
you don't have any concerns about AstraZeneca?
No. The Health Minister and Dr. Young said that they were going to get AstraZeneca. If I don't need to go to Tokyo, I'll get AstraZeneca. If I do need to go, I have to look at the health advice there.
And that's the advice you'll be seeking from your GP?
Yes. And I think everyone should go and talk to their GP. If anyone does have any concerns out there, please go and sit down. I mean, it is client confidentiality, patient confidentiality between you and your GP. And I know that they are taking appointments now. So, we want to make sure that all of Queensland's safe. Queensland's done a magnificent job. And now is the time, especially as we head from now up until Christmas, where we want to see all Queenslanders to get vaccinated.
Premier, the AMA has come out this morning criticising voluntary assisted dying, saying that palliative care is massively underfunded. What do you say about that?
Look, we went to the election and we said we're going to put $171 million into palliative care. This is incredibly important. I currently have friends at the moment that are in palliative care. So we want to make sure that everyone has a respectful end of life that is free of pain. And that is why also tomorrow I will be introducing the voluntary assisted dying bill into the Queensland Parliament.
Is the government, though, focusing too much on voluntary?
Not at all. We actually made that very key commitment about making sure that we had extra funds into palliative care as well. We understand that is absolutely very vital for end-of-life care. But also tomorrow we'll be also introducing this bill, which I know a lot of Queenslanders have been waiting for a long, long time.
They say they worry that people aren't going to have a genuine choice between the two, and they might feel pressured to choose voluntary assisted dying because they can't get a placement, for example.
I don't think that would be the case at all. I mean, everybody, well, most people would have a relative or someone they know that has been through palliative care. It comes down once again to this choice. It's an individual's choice about how they, if they are faced with a terminal illness, how they wish to end their life.
On the criminal age of responsibility for children,
Yep.
what's your position on that?
There's
What
no
do you
government.
make
There is no government policy.
what do you make of moves internally in Labor to raise
Well,
the age?
the Labor Party has very robust debates, but it is not government policy.
I said,
Yep.
talk to Young about the two crewmen on board.
Yes. Yep. Then we have to go.
Are they two or three?
Yes, they're 2 of the 3 cases, and at this stage they're actually very well, so we're going to leave them on the ship and see how that transpires.
Do you know where it's from and how many crew there are? Presumably they're being tested.
Yes, they're all being tested, so no, I don't have the numbers.
We'll find out for you. Okay.
Sorry, I don't have that number with me.
Away from the port at all, or so?
No. We've been managing these ships for many, many months now, and we're finding in actual fact that most people on board, if they don't have it now, have previously had it. So we're not worried about it at all.
Okay. Thank you. Thanks.